So, I'm really at the point where I have absolutely no sympathy for anyone that thought that the protests and the rioting and the unreasonable demands would stop as soon as Joe Biden and Kamala Harris got elected. That's what we need to do. We need to get Donald Trump out of office. That will solve all of our problems. And then all of the protesters and the rioters and the people who are disrupting everyday life all over the country will just they'll take the W. We will have achieved social justice and we'll never have to hear from these people again. I have zero sympathy for any of these people anymore. Truly, truly. And part of the reason for that is that last night, Black Lives Matter literally protested a fundraiser for children's cancer. I'm not kidding. And remember, so far as they're concerned right now, Joe Biden's going to be inaugurated in just a few short weeks. Kamala Harris serving right behind him, inevitably getting elevated to the presidency at some point because Joe Biden has dementia. So congratulations. They've gotten everything that they wanted and they are still protesting a children's cancer fundraiser at Christmas. I'm not making this up. This is reporting from Breitbart. Members of a local Black Lives Matter organization marched through a candy cane lane charity event and harassed people driving through the Christmas-decorated streets. The residents of Milwaukee, Wisconsin suburb decorate every year to raise money for a childhood cancer center. Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Why does Milwaukee, Wisconsin ring a bell to me? Oh, is that one of the places where obvious and blatant voter fraud occurred and everyone just wants to ignore it as though it's something that just didn't possibly happen? There's no evidence. There's no evidence. We can't see any evidence of voter fraud. There's no evidence of voter fraud. We can't see any voter fraud. I don't know what you guys are talking about when you say there's voter fraud. There is no evidence of voter fraud. They get exactly what they deserve. So far as I'm concerned, every single person in every one of these cities that is refusing to look into any of the shenanigans at all that are going on, you get what you deserve. You get what you deserve. Let's keep going. The People's Revolution, a Black Lives Matter organization, organized a march to disrupt a children's cancer fundraiser in West Allis, Wisconsin, Friday night. Okay, so this was on Friday, not yesterday, excuse me. The group marched down Candy Cane Lane and harassed suburban attendees to the annual charity event where the residents decorate their homes for Christmas and the holidays, Wisconsin Right Now reported. Now, if you want to see what happened, there is a 30-minute video on Breitbart's website that documented the whole thing. 30 minutes, 30 straight minutes of filming exactly as it occurred. So I will link this in the description below. You can go watch the whole, if you don't trust Breitbart's reporting, you can go watch the whole thing for yourself and decide what you think happened. This is why we always need to watch stuff for ourselves, guys. Because I absolutely know. I'm going to post this on at least my personal Facebook where I still have self-blinded lefties. That's what I'm going to start calling them. Self-blinded lefties. Lefties who are like, I don't see it. Carlin, I don't see it. It must not be happening. I don't see it. I don't see it. I don't see it. And then they say, every time I post something, they're saying, you post edited video. You're not telling the truth. This video is deceptively edited. Well, go watch for yourself, man. Go watch for yourself and stop your complaining, because I'm not coddling this nonsense a minute longer than I already have. Let's see. They know who we are, the march leader shouted. TPR, TPR, the People's Revolution. That's what that stands for. Huh. What other country had a People's Revolution? I'm just saying, I'm reading a book about it right now. The Wisconsin news outlet revealed a social media post allegedly from one of the residents of the street. My son and I were playing in the living room and we heard very loud music and people chanting from the outside. We opened up the front door to see what all the commotion is about. It was a Black Lives Matter march going up and down the block through Candy Cane Lane. These people saw my back the badge sign and Trump 2020 sign and began to shout at us. They began to give us the middle finger and shouted, F you, F the police, F Trump. Really? I'm the one holding my 1-year-old son in my arms. Glad to see how peaceful and respectful these people in protest really are. What a piece of S. Another video posted by activist Mariah Smith on Facebook shows another view of the group marching down the middle of the road. So again, you can go watch that for yourself. And then the marchers shouted, Black children's lives matter and no justice, no peace at the visitors who became stranded in their cars. So let's just play just a couple of seconds of this, and hopefully I have set this up properly so the sound will actually come through.
Black lives matter! Black lives matter! Black lives matter! Oh, Lord, stay a minute again!
So you can see they're marching down the middle of the street. They're chanting Black Lives Matter. There is no question of who these people are. And Dan O'Donnell here at Dan O'Donnell's Show on Twitter says, it's okay. The Black Lives Matter goons plan to make a donation to child cancer to make up for the money the charity will lose tonight. Just kidding. They're terrible people. That's exactly correct, Dan. The TBR protests have marched for months in nearby. I have no idea how to pronounce that. I'm sorry, Milwaukee. You got some weird names for stuff. And I know I'm probably offending someone by saying that, but it's true. The local news outlet stated a TPR member is accused of a felony for discharging a firearm at police officer Joseph Mensah. No justice, no peace until all around here marchers yell, according to Wisconsin Right Now, giving the gift of our demands for Black and brown lives, yet many of us would spread them lies. Santa has his list. The naughty and nice. Will our houses get skipped the following nights? Well, like I said, folks, and so many people were saying it, do not expect the riots and the looting and the protests to go away indefinitely. Because we still literally have protests. I'm sorry. They're not gone. They're just taking a little break. And remember, I'm going to remind you what happened when the pandemic started, because they were all the woke nonsense was happening right up until the pandemic started back in February. And then all of a sudden it went away for a little while. It was like they were regrouping. It was so nice when all of a sudden the woke social justice nonsense just stopped. It was for several weeks. It was the best. It was everyone's quiet. And we all kind of thought, we were maybe these people have realized that there are real problems in the world that they legitimately need to tackle now that there is an actual emergency. But no. What happened as soon as George Floyd died? It was boom! They were back again because they had a reason to be. And it had nothing to do with George Floyd. It had nothing to do with it at all. It was because they were opportunists and they jumped on that reason. And if you think another opportunity isn't going to come up at some point, of course it is. Of course it is. This was never about Trump. It was never about Trump. And regardless of if Biden gets inaugurated or not, it is not about who is in the White House. It is going to come up again and again and again and again and again because these people are anti-American revolutionaries. They are literally calling themselves the People's Revolution. Literally calling themselves that, the People's Revolution. I don't know when the American people are going to start waking up to this because they've already donated $10 billion, billion with a B, to Black Lives Matter since George Floyd's death. Workplaces told their employees to donate money to Black Lives Matter. Everyone, you needed to donate to Black Lives Matter and then post on social media that you donated to Black Lives Matter in order to not get the mark of the beast on you or some such nonsense. It was ridiculous. And people still don't get it. They still don't get it. Well, I'll tell you this. We're in for some interesting things. So the next video I'm going to film right after this, it's going to be a separate video. You're going to have to look for it on my channel, but I'm literally going to film it right after this one. Is this article from The Nation. The votes of Black Americans should count twice. Vote reparations would empower us to replace oppressive institutions with life-affirming structures of equality. This is not a joke, people. This is not a drill. And, You know, I mean, part of me really hopes that, you know, I've been kind of in the middle on things since the election, and that's purposeful, by the way. It's mostly to maintain my own level of sanity. I never want to be too invested in an outcome that my entire world comes crashing down if I don't get the outcome I want. But I'll tell you this, I think one of the very best things that could happen in terms of actually making progress in winning the culture war is for Joe Biden to get inaugurated as president. I really do. Because when this stuff continues to happen, when Joe Biden gets inaugurated as president and all of a sudden no one has Trump to blame, maybe that's when we can actually start addressing some of these issues. You know what? Listen, maybe Helen Pluckrose was right when she said that it would be easier to tackle some of these issues if Joe Biden was president. And you know what? Maybe she's going to get her wish in that regard. I don't know. I'm not taking a side. I don't even know. I don't even know at this point what I think would be best. I'm just gonna keep doing what I'm doing and continue to try to do what I can to wake people up to the nonsense that's going on, because none of this has anything to do with Donald Trump. Donald Trump was just one of the very few people that had identified it and was pushing back on it, and we may need to continue the fight without him, and it may actually be an easier fight to win if they can't blame him every step of the way. All right, guys, so I will be doing this Votes for Black Americans Should Count Twice video literally right after this. It will be on my channel if you want to find out what's going on in this article. If you enjoy the content I'm creating, I do try to do daily content almost every single day of the week about news, politics, culture, different issues I find interesting. So I'm always posting new content regardless of whether YouTube wants to notify you or not. Fun fact, YouTube around 3 a.m. dropped about 200 subscribers from my account. Now, I know that some people really dislike me, and that's fine, but I find it very hard to believe that around 3 a.m. a whole bunch of people, hundreds of people woke up and said, you know what, I'm unsubscribing to that bitch's account right now. I just can't wait to do it. I have to do it at 3 a.m. on a Sunday morning. So just double check if you think you're subscribed. Just double check that subscription. If you haven't seen me in a while, if you haven't seen content show up, just check back, man. Check back to make sure you're still subscribed, because this is literally every single day YouTube is doing this to me. And hey, if you haven't subscribed yet, this is a good day to do it and to give the middle finger to YouTube, who keeps trying to basically eliminate channels like mine. This is not just about me. This is going on with basically all the different channels like mine that exist. So you can really give the middle finger to YouTube by you know, subscribing to people like me, because they're really trying to silence us. They're trying to push us out. I'm not going to give up. I'm not going to run away with my tail between my legs. Everyone's like, Carlin, you should go to Rumble. Well, you know what? That's taking your toys and going home. I am actually posting videos on Rumble. I think Rumble kind of sucks, if I'm honest. I'm not going there exclusively. F that. We need to keep playing in their backyards in order to fight back against them. If you take your toys and go home and say, I'm only going to go on platforms that are for conservatives, dude, you're missing the point. You're missing the bigger picture. I'm going back right now and rereading a lot of stuff that Andrew Breitbart wrote, because I missed him. I missed Andrew Breitbart, and I'm really sad that I did now that I'm actually reading his stuff. And one of the things he said is walk towards the fire. Stop running away. Walk towards the fire. All right, guys, that's all I've got for right now. I'll see you soon.